Now available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com is the book called DUI Jury Trial, which is the true story of a truck driver in Illinois who was charged with driving under the influence of alcohol. Not only was he facing a revocation of his driver's license, but also a lifetime disqualification of his CDL, which would prevent him from ever driving a semi-truck again. This book includes backstories of the truck driver, the lawyers that defended the case, and the DUI expert witness who analyzed the case and then testified at trial as to the proper protocol procedures of the field sobriety tests as well as the breathalyzer test. This nonfiction novel also includes the actual court transcript from the jury trial, a courtroom showdown in which the final verdict would determine the fate of the defendant's livelihood. The book DUI Jury Trial is now available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com.
It's time to wake up.
Yes!
And lock in to On the Rise.
Yes!
With host Mike Napolitano.
Cub fans have every right to be disappointed if this Cubs team continues on the trajectory that they're on and they miss the playoffs or, at best, get a wild card spot. You are cooked at that point.
Mamma mia!
Dalton Cooper.
Like, I would look out for my friends and be like, hey, you know, if you're ranking a little bit, I'm gonna let you know. I feel like that's a good friend. I'd be like, hey, did you smell yourself, or did you maybe did you fart, but something doesn't smell right.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And Nick Johnston.
For the most part, to be fair, I don't want to completely, justify a sweep, but the Royals are red hot right now. Vinny Pasquantino might be Ted Williams reincarnated. I'm just kind of throwing that out there.
On WRMN 1410 AM, the voice of the Valley.
And welcome in, everybody. WRMN 1410 on the rise. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hopefully you're staying warm. We're staying nice and heated with the conversations.
Yeah.
Ready to rock and roll. Nick Johnston on the ones and twos, hosting it. Dalton Cooper to my left. How you doing today, Dalton?
Good. It's chilly. Everybody stay warm,
Yes.
stay bundled up. This is like lose feeling in your hands weather if you're not careful.
This is genuinely unsafe for, obviously, if you're outside for any amount of time. So definitely take advantage of, stay inside, stay warm, do what you got to do.
Yeah. It's a good thing we don't have football games here. That was like God, could you imagine?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. That would have been for sure. Obviously, the first guy would have ripped his shirt off and been viral and everything like that. Yeah, yeah, standing out there in Soldier Field, cold Soldier Field. But that's what we got to get to today. We got to talk, obviously, the Bears falling to the Rams in overtime, 20-17. We'll get to that game, obviously, recapping that and then kind of a shoot over into the future for the Bears. What kind of our grading of the season, what needs to be done to fix it up, and just overall thoughts there. We got some, obviously, other AFC and NFC championship games to get to. We'll recap a couple other games in the NFL realm. We got some baseball news. The White Sox making other moves in the headlines. Luis Robert Jr. on his way to New York. Concrete jungle. Something about a tomato. Nice. There we go. For Luis Angel Acuna and Truman.
There's a pitcher. I know that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We'll get to him for sure. And then obviously, finally, wrapping it up with kind of anything and everything else under the sun. The Bulls and making some news. Obviously, tonight is Derrick Rose's retirement for his jersey. We can get some thoughts there.
Big night.
Jonathan Tay's return for he didn't come back, but he did play against the Blackhawks. We can kind of get some thoughts there. And then we'll wrap it up with something that's kind of been gaining some steam here, if I don't say so myself. Little picker wheel what we got here. A little wheel determines what we talk about for a good remainder of the time. So we'll get to that. Maybe some Mamma Mia on the way out. But man, oh man, long-winded way of getting to the top of what we need to talk about. The Bears. The Bears falling to the Rams. Bears. Still Bears. This was still I enjoyed my time. I enjoyed it. Where to even start? Do we start with the play that everyone's talking about, the Cole Kmet touchdown? Do we start with the opening drive, just everything and the feeling? This was another insane game, another intense game. Bummer, of course, obviously, to not come out on top. But man, oh man, just the consensus feeling across the board was still optimism. It was still hopeful. It was still a good feeling. I think, again, the consensus across the board is a lot of other teams, a lot of other organizations would have killed to have this type of season. And it was just nice to see progression, obviously playoff football in Chicago. You saw just how the city felt. Every single day was a positive conversation, it felt like, across the board. But, man, oh, man, going out, losing in overtime, thoughts, questions, concerns. Where did you want to start here, Dalton?
I wonder what kind of questions I could have. But other than washing your hands because it's flu season, you know. But
That's
I guess we lost the turnover battle, which I think was probably the difference in the game for the first time in a minute. The Bears have. We didn't get any turnover. The Rams played pretty much, for lack of a better term, they played a perfect game in the regard that they didn't have any turnovers. They didn't have any penalties. They didn't have a single drop pass. So it took the Rams' best effort, arguably, to beat this Bears team, which I think going into the season, if you would have told anybody that, I think a lot of Chicago would have been happy with a 9-win season or even a 10-win season and not even a playoff trip, but just to see the progression.
Oh, yeah, meeting the win total was huge.
Yeah, so just even winning 11 games, winning the North, it's hard to have a bad taste in your mouth. I know it stinks because they're not playing this weekend, but it's really hard to be negative about the season as a whole. Like, I feel like you have to really go out of your way to be negative about it when you look at the expectation coming in, kind of where the franchise has been in the last, I don't know, 40 years, give or take, ever since Jim McMahon left, basically. So it's nice to see. I think for the first time in a long time, Bears fans are actually looking forward to next season.
Yeah,
and what that actually brings. So, and it's the first time I think in a minute. And this team reminds me a lot of the Cubs in 2015 when right before they won the World Series. Remember in 2015, the Cubs kind of came out of nowhere. They played really well. I think they made the NLCS that year. They got swept, but they showed the ability to be a winning team. Mm-hmm. And it feels like the Bears are kind of having that moment where hopefully it's the same translation to where next year they go on and they add the right pieces, they get everything together, people start getting in grooves. Caleb maybe takes another step forward, and all of a sudden we're looking at this team as a top 2 team in the NFC possibly.
I mean, again, I don't want to get selfish or jump too far ahead, but it was looking good. I mean, everything that kind of fell into play, again, starting from all the way to the beginning of the season, you get your head coach in Ben Johnson, the number one target for basically every single team that needed a head coach at that time.
Yeah.
He locks in and then immediately starts mind melding with Caleb Williams is what you love to see, as opposed to when if you did watch the Bears Hard Knocks, it was kind of a hard watch most of the time because watching Caleb Williams interact with Matt Eberflus was almost not. It almost didn't even happen most of the time. But
they watched a lot of film together, from what I remember.
Yeah. So taking basically, I don't want to keep making this comparison, but I always kind of make this same one with Trevor Lawrence, how he had Urban Meyer in his rookie season, and that was a train wreck to be the most positive in that sense. So I don't want to say this was like, Caleb rookie year 1A, 1B, but it almost was. He had to relearn basically everything all over again. Comes in, has a solid season, just short of the 4,000 yards that the Bears need to hit to be a Bear, for a Bears quarterback and whatnot. But has an amazing season. Cleans up the sacks and all, are taking sacks, and you saw how athletic he was and just how he was almost a magician. How he almost made better plays when he was scrambling around and running around and running with his hair on fire. But it seems in this game, kind of getting back to this game in general, 3 interceptions from Caleb.
Yeah.
Getting to maybe, I guess the most popular question, what was thrown around the most this week was, did DJ Moore give up on that play? Was it just simply a miscommunication? Did you get anything from that? Did you
Honestly, I thought DJ was a little banged up. Like, he hit his head earlier in that game. He got rocked pretty good on the sideline, and it looked like he hit the part of the field that wasn't thawed out, that was not unfrozen. So I never want to accuse players of giving up. I don't think that was the case at all. Yeah, I don't think that was. I think it was just.
I think it was a very lazy week for a lot of analysts, and that just kind of saw that question, took it, and ran with it. So
I think it's just. And it's unfortunately it's not the first time you've seen DJ Moore maybe quote unquote give up on a route. But there's a lot of factors that go into that. I don't think that was. I don't even want to say that was the reason why they lost the game. I don't know why Caleb's making that throw to begin with. That obviously I don't. There were some play calls that I had some questions on, but I still don't think that's the time to push the envelope. So I think if anything, it's a learning moment for everybody. It's a
That's
learning
fair.
moment for DJ. It's a learning moment for Ben. It's a learning moment for Caleb.
And that's exactly it. I don't want to get too like dramatic or theatrical with everything, but I do like that in the sense for Caleb where he can come in next year and he almost has like a chip on his shoulder. Like, okay, you know what? Was just short of being in the NFC Championship. I threw an interception to make us essentially lose the game. So I think he's going to come. I think he would always come in just with that intensity, but just going to be a little bit more oomph and fire every single week because of that reason. And I really like that idea of it. But again, in terms of like last year, they cleaned up the sacks and having 60+ sacks. Didn't have that this season. However, in the next season, if we're looking forward to goals or things that need to be cleaned up or changed for sure, I believe I can probably pull it up, but I believe the Bears led the league in drops this season from their pass catchers. That is something that's humongous that needs to change right away, especially when I feel like every week it's Caleb's accuracy. Well, what's the percentage? What's this? What's that? That could be easily cleaned up and changed. You add another 5% to 10% on his accuracy percentile if you just simply catch a couple more balls. So I feel like then again, that's not the huge issue. I think coming out of this whole season, out of this whole year, watching these just last few games, and especially in the playoffs for the Bears, all those Caleb naysayers or the people that sat there watch the draft are like, oh, should have taken Jaden Daniels. Haven't heard a peep from those people in quite a while, and I got a couple in my Rolodex of people that have been sitting on that one, but yeah, that was kind of the thing where again you walk out of that game, damn, that's a bummer that you lost, but you're just sitting there like, all right, we got our guy. We got our guy, Caleb.
We got our guys. They got the coach. They got the quarterback.
You got some solid pass catchers.
Yeah.
Again, in terms of what you need, I think the glaring issue has to be a pass rush.
Yeah.
It has to be a pass rush.
They have to figure out left tackle, too, because Trapillo won't be back, and he's going to miss most of the season with the patellar tendon injury.
Yeah.
So I could see them getting maybe a veteran presence just to come in and fill that spot until he's ready to go. Maybe just a stopgap idea kind of player.
Yeah.
I think the secondary is going to look a little bit different than what it did this year. We'll see what happens with Jaquan Brisker and Nashawn Wright. Those guys are both going to want contracts. Yeah. Brisker played amazing in that game against the Rams. I think he had 13 tackles.
He did. He led the way.
Or 14 tackles, forgive me. Yeah, he was the man, like you said, leading the way. He's going to want an extension. I think he's going to probably want a little bit more money than Chicago is going to be able to afford him for.
Yeah.
Nashawn Wright was literally making $1 million this year. Which I know doesn't sound. I mean, it sounds great. I mean, if I were to tell you, hey, here's $1 million, you probably wouldn't ask me for a whole lot after that. But he played well enough to probably get a little bit bigger deal somewhere else. And that's going to be there's a couple spots, but nothing that is like stop the presses. We need to figure this out. So we'll see what happens. Maybe a wide receiver deal. But I think, like you said, top of the list has got to be a pass rusher.
Me personally, I am not going to lose sleep if Brisker walks. I feel like we
can get younger.
Yeah, younger and just, not as injury prone. I feel like he was a guy like, yes, he'll get in there and make a play. However, at the end of that play, he's most likely on the ground and we're calling an injury timeout and we're hearing the the sad version of that. So that I feel like that happens more often than it doesn't. So again, I'm not gonna be all too upset if Brisker isn't back into a Bears uniform come next year.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Luther Burden take over this team. That he is going to be their top wide receiver moving forward, in my opinion. Like Colson Leveland's going to be great. I just think that it's going to be Luther Burden. You're going to see the guy that makes a difference on the outside. And
I am not opposed to that.
Yeah.
You will not hear an argument out of me from that. I love that idea of Luther Burden making that next step up and becoming. Can we maybe compare him to like the T. Higgins role of like just a solid number 2 and be like, hey, you can be a number 1 in any other teams. That type. Can we get him to that role? Maybe. I don't know. Hopefully that'd be
I think
nice.
he's gonna be a big sleeper in fantasy next year.
Okay, that's fair. That's
big
fair.
Sleeper in fantasy.
That's fair. You can definitely get him in late rounds for sure. But yeah, definitely just across the board in my mind, goals for not goals for or what we need to do. you see that obviously Caleb being on the rookie contract, you have a little bit of leeway with some money, about 20 some odd million, or if not more.
Oh, probably more because he's only making like $9 million.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Well, again, in my mind, invest in the defense. You invest in the defense. I think the offense is basically set. I don't know. You probably add another key player here or there or two. I'm not going to be opposed to it, but
I almost think it's backwards. I think you invest your draft capital in your defense, and you spend your money in free agency on offense.
Okay.
I think that's the way they
who
should
are
go.
Who are you eyeballing on the offensive side in free agency? Anybody just coming off the top of the dome?
Not right off the top of the head. Like I said, I definitely want to spend some money to secure a good veteran left tackle from somewhere. Maybe it's a trade. I don't know. They're kind of in the position now to where they can maybe look to move first and second round picks, just because more than likely they're going to be later in the draft, so they're not going to be as valuable.
Yeah, looking at Tankathon, I believe right around 25 would be the pick, and at least the one that they have on their website, an edge rusher from Clemson. I'm missing the name off the top of my head, but that's who they had. So.
It'd be great to see Bain from Miami fall to Chicago somehow, or if Chicago could trade up to get Bain.
Yeah,
he's a killer.
That'd be fantastic.
He's a difference maker for sure.
But yeah, across the tough loss for sure. But let's get to maybe, how do we want to grade this? You want to put a letter grade on it? Pass fail? I'm gonna give it a pass, obviously, but
I think it's an A+.
Yeah, S tier, A+, A tier.
I think A+, highest grade you could possibly give. I think just because of where the expectation was. The Bears have their coach and quarterback combo for the next 10 to 15 years. I think it's probably the first time in Chicago history that you could say that. I think a lot of us believe that the worst case scenario, it's a top 10 head coach quarterback combination in the league, if not top 5. I think you could maybe start to argue that it's top 5 as early as right now, and maybe moving forward, it could be top 3 or the best, depending on what happens with some other combos. You got some sustainability. Honestly, the only negative about the Bears right now is what in the world are we going to do about a stadium situation? That is literally the only negative situation that is surrounding this franchise right now.
Yeah, and again, after coming off the cold winter-esque, playoff games where that was somewhat an advantage, I'm kind of turning the corner and saying, you know what, maybe a dome isn't really necessary.
Oh, no, don't say it. This is the first playoffs since 2002, 2003 that we did not have an indoor home game in the playoffs this season.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Not a single one. And these playoffs have been great.
They have
been amazing.
That's exactly.
All those Chiefs fans.
You see the positive correlation.
Yeah. All those Chiefs fans that are like, oh, yeah, the playoffs aren't the same without Kansas City. No, please go home. Please just stop.
Nick Wright, take a seat, please.
Yeah. Twitter is just full of them right now.
But yeah, I would have to agree with you. I would love to, I guess, be bullish and say A+ as well. I would for sure say, if this was a legit teacher writing on a piece of paper on some homework, it would say exceeded expectation, as opposed to
you can be Ralphie's,
see me after class.
Ralphie's teacher from Chris plus all the way across the room.
Amazing.
Yeah. That's how. Like I said, the only thing negative right now with this team is that stadium situation. They had, just to give you some rundowns of records they had this year, the most fourth quarter comebacks in franchise history. Caleb Williams set the NFL record with 7 fourth quarter comebacks in this season. They had a defensive turnover ratio. The Bears were the first team since the 2011 49ers to lead the league in takeaways while having the fewest turnovers. They had 33 takeaways. They had 11 giveaways. Caleb Williams obviously set the franchise record for passing yards in a playoff game with 361. Colson Loveland set the team rookie and tight end records for receiving yards in a playoff game. Cairo Santos kicked a team record 51-yard field goal in the playoff game. They had viewership records that they broke.
Oh, wow.
45.4 million for the divisional game, which is the highest in NBC sports history. Do you know, by the way, they were talking about this on ESPN 1000. Do you know Chicago is obviously the biggest market that tuned in that game? Do you know the second biggest market that tuned in by viewership?
Ooh.
I'll let you stew on that for a second. Let me give you the last one here. The coaching success. Head coach Ben Johnson became the first Bears coach to win a postseason game in his first year. So a lot of good stuff that's happened this year. But can you tell me what city had the second highest viewership of the Bears and Rams?
Somewhere in Southern California.
No.
Caleb.
Oh, no, it's Milwaukee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're still living rent free.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That's actually
LA
funny.
had I think it was 11.6 million or something like that. But yeah, no, the Bears are still living rent-free in the Packers' brains.
Oh, just up there in Milwaukee, just hate watching the Bears or hate listening to the Bears.
They do.
And you can do that right here on WRMN 1410. You download the app. You can go ahead and listen to the Bears. Take the Bears with you, or the White Sox as well during the baseball season. Go ahead, download WRMN and take them just about anywhere, like I was mentioning, because a lot of people like to fly on out of here and get out of the cold, rightfully so, and they move to warmer places like Florida,
Arizona
area, California, Vegas. Like I said, still a lot of Bears fans out there, so take the Bears with you and go ahead and download WRMN 1410 on that app. They're right there. Again, across the board,
A lot of great things.
a lot of solid things, a lot of great things. Again, you can give all these individual grades across all along here. You saw a big step up with DeAndre Swift later on, and Kyle Monangai. I believe they put it up in a stat. They put it up in a graphic. The only two running back duos to have 750 yards each this season. So that was really cool. Again, really solid to see a seventh-round pick have 700-plus yards and put up the touchdowns that they did in the amount of the usage and the touches that Kyle Monangai got compared to drafting a guy 6th overall in Ashton Genty. I'm not hitting that Genty, but just kind of showing you that you don't need to do that. You don't need to waste your first-round pick on a guy that can be found later on in the draft. But again, I feel like we've been jumping around, hopping around. I think I do like your idea of exactly what you mentioned of using the free agency to maybe get some veterans in some key positions, but exactly that, using the draft capital, because there isn't all too much this year compared to the last few years, which might be a good thing. I believe only 5 picks right now for the Bears and for this draft.
Possibly, I'd have to look that up. But this year's draft is great for the Bears because it is full of edge rushers. There are a lot of good edge rushers in this draft, and that's literally what the Bears need.
That is the Bears. Number one, I would, again, if we're looking at priority number one, have to be edge rusher, have to be on the defensive side, clearing that up, because for a while, and definitely on a couple of drives.
7 picks, by the way.
7 picks?
7 picks in this year's draft. Yep.
Okay, nice.
25th, 57th, 89th. They have the Rams' 4th-round pick. They have their own 5th-round pick, and then they have 2 7s this year.
Okay, all right, that's not too bad. Not too bad. I can make some noise. You can get some nice capital done. You can get some key players across the board. I mean, hell, Puka was a 5th-round pick.
Yeah, right.
So it's possible. It's definitely possible for this stuff to happen. But again, if we're looking at other storylines with about a minute left here before we had the commercial, if we're looking at other storylines, things that may have gotten brushed under the rug or things that were just simply forgotten about, was the whole hoopla of course, drafting Colson Loveland over Tyler Warren. And later on, you clearly saw that Colson Loveland played into the Bears offense in a huge way. Again, it was just kind of just Ben Johnson easing his guys in slowly but surely across the season. And again, finishing that last game against the Rams with 10 targets. So he's going to be clearly one of the big pieces of the Bears offense next season. We'll just have to throw the question mark again of, is DJ Moore back here next season? What can we get? Are we going to get wide receiver 1 numbers out of Rome Odunze next year? Can we get that same, thunder and lightning duo of Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift? But again, guys and gals, let us know in the comments section. Hit us up on the socials. What'd you think of this year? Bears graded across the board. Anything and everything. What do you think of the Bears season this year? I think we'll come back stronger and better than ever, hopefully, for next season.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, things are looking up for the first time in a long time. We've got a team to look forward to in this next coming football season.
Exactly right. But looking forward to tomorrow, we have the NFC and the AFC championship games. We're going to be recapping a few games, how we got here, and of course, what we think will go down in those games. We got not Bo Nix, but Jarrett Stidham and Drake May. And then, of course, we're going to have Matthew Stafford and Sam Darnold. Right back here, WRMN's On the Rise when we return.
Hi there, Tammy Scully here from Talk Time with Tammy and Friends. Join me and my sidekicks, Nancy and Becky, for valuable lifestyle tips and unique views and insights on interesting topics and everyday situations, providing nonstop fun and chuckles for all. Get the scoop on consumer news, deep dive on current events, and learn about the newest economic trends, from exercise and gardening to music, travel, recipes, sports, pets, real estate, media, and everything in between. And it's all sprinkled with a healthy helping of bad dad jokes and interesting fun facts to boot. Tune in Mondays through Thursdays from 2 to 4 p.m. for a little fun, frolic, and infotainment. Join us, won't you?
On WRMN. Talk time.
Welcome to downtown Elgin, where businesses, community, and creativity come together. The Downtown Neighborhood Association provides valuable, complimentary services to all downtown businesses, organizations, property owners, and residents, helping you gain exposure and thrive. Whether you're already part of the district or exploring a new downtown location, DNA is here to help your vision grow. Join us in creating a vibrant, connected, and successful downtown Elgin. Call now 847-488-1456, or you can email info@downtownelgin.com. As for Jennifer Facala, Downtown Neighborhood Association, where the heart of business beats strong.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Are you looking to buy, sell, or trade something? Maybe clean out that attic or basement, or just make a little extra cash? Then don't miss Tradio on Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410. Weekdays at 12:30 p.m. Call in to let folks in the Fox River Valley know what you're looking for or what you've got to get rid of. It's easy, it's free, and it's a great way to connect with your community. Call in at 847-931-1410. That's 847-931-1410. If it's got to go, then let us know. Only on Tradio, here on WRMN AM 1410.
Does your car need a shine? At Britain's Touchless Car Wash, they make it quick, easy, and spotless every time. And they're open 24/7 for your convenience. Right now, get a free car wash just for joining their text club. Text BRITT to 30400 and enjoy a free car wash. Visit Britain's Touchless Car Wash at 1923 Larkin Avenue in Elgin or at 555 Willow in West Dundee. Britain's, caring for your car while caring for our community.
Welcome in, everyone. WRMN 1410 on the rise. Nick Johnson, Dalton Cooper here. Just recapped anything and everything that was Bears in this past game. A little bit of what we might see in the offseason. DJ Moore, you still going to be a Bear? We'll figure that out. Right now, we got some NFC and some AFC championship games to talk about, to preview. We'll recap some more divisional games right here. This is, I think the divisional round might be my favorite week of the NFL season. Because you get 2 games in 2 days. or excuse me, you get 2 games or 4 games in 2 days.
There you go.
My apologies. 2 and 2. And you get some of the most competitive ball games. So besides, give or take one or two, but man, oh man, this was awesome. Started off nice, ended pretty well. In between games were meh. We'll get to that exactly. I think let's start off with the Saturday blowout, the night game. Not really much to write home about there. No. Seahawks dismantle almost right away. The 49ers 41-6. It was Rashid Shaheed's return for a touchdown on the immediate kickoff to start off the game, and that kind of just took the wind right out of the 49ers' sails right away. Didn't really seem like it was all too competitive. Again, not really. They didn't really get any momentum throughout the game. Was there anything that you saw, or just anything just to write up, to even talk about in that game in general?
No, just the defense. I think Zach Charbonnet getting injured is a big deal going into this week's game. With the rematch against the Rams. A lot of people are not talking about that. I think that's going to play a bigger factor than some people are willing to give it credit to. But no, you could just tell the 49ers knew they couldn't really go head to head and play the Seahawks straight up. I knew the game was over when you have Kyle Juszczyk running a speed option with Christian McCaffrey on 4th down. That's when I knew the game was over.
Yeah.
And that was about all she wrote. It was 17-0 after the first quarter.
Yeah.
So Rashid Shaheed, do not kick the ball to this man. Do not let him touch it. Just don't let him get his paws on it, because you will never catch him. That's what I've learned.
I think what your comment on Zach Charbonnet will probably be a very underrated in terms of just he's been very much used throughout the entire year. Yes, Kenneth Walker is their number 1 per se, but Zach Charbonnet, if you watch Seattle games throughout the entire season, or if you were a fantasy viewer, you saw that he was basically the guy getting the goal line touches, getting the touchdowns towards the end of drives. While Kenneth Walker did have a nice game, he had 19 carries, 116, and had 3 touchdowns. But yes, I don't think that doesn't necessarily carry over each and every time. Every time, as a fantasy owner, you every time you feel like you rely on Kenneth Walker, he kind of kind of falls on his face. But he very much had a good game there. But yeah, I think you're very much right. Zach Charbonnet being missing for the Seattle Seahawks could be a big issue. On the flip side, again, just 49ers, I guess maybe also just the injuries definitely caught up to them. George Kittle leaves the game very early, or I don't even think did he even play at all.
No, he didn't play.
Okay. That was I'm mixing that up with the wild card round beforehand. He leaves. Their leading receiver ended up being the backup tight end, and Jake Tungus. Then he ends up getting hurt as well. So. It wasn't going to be all too competitive again. It looks like in my mind, yes, the injuries definitely caught up to the 49ers, and tough break considering Seattle's coming off of a bye, so they're on fresh legs. They're ready to roll. They're in a raucous Seattle environment, and sure enough, they just took it and ran. 49ers lose that one 41-6, and again, Seahawks. Every time they have a bye, or every time they have the number 1 seed, they're either winning the Super Bowl or losing the Super Bowl. That's been last couple trips for the Seahawks with that number 1 seed. So we'll see how that goes. Still in Saturday's games, with the first game here was the more competitive one. It took us into overtime here. Broncos taking down the Bills 33-30. Again, I remember last week you said you weren't all too confident in these number 1 seeds, but here they are. Advancing on after that Saturday. But it wasn't without some theatrics, some late game heroics,
some controversy.
Yeah, that as well. That's the big thing for sure. Oh, we definitely didn't even get to that, because that was kind of the kind of thrown in underneath all the positivity, I guess, was the reception, interception, could have been, should have been. Was it an interception? What's a catch anymore?
The interception recovery.
Exactly.
Because it's a reception that turned an interception that turned into a turnover.
And if you're not quite sure what we're talking about, of course, in the Bears game, you saw a pass to Devontae Adams, which was he was down, but it was ripped out later, and then of course,
we
could have saw that as that would have been a huge play for sure.
Yeah.
But what got it all started was the day before when Brandon Cooks goes up for a pass in overtime, and it's ripped away afterward after they both come down. And sure enough, the Broncos come out on top with it and get an interception from it. Again, Sean McDermott wasn't too keen on the explanation from it. We saw a tearful Josh Allen, not because of that play, but just because he felt like he let his team down once again. But I mean, that's a tough all around.
5 turnovers will do that to you.
Yeah, that for sure will. But yeah, I mean, I'll just simply ask: what was that? Was that called correctly in your opinion? That Brandon Cooks reception turned into an interception?
I feel like whatever is going to be called in the field was going to stand, but the fact that they never stopped a game to even look at it was the part that I was like, what's really going on here? Like Sean McDermott had to burn a timeout to ask if they were going to review it, and they were just like, no, we're good. So that's kind of like, whoa, because every other play, I mean, you see it on basically any given football Sunday that you sit and watch. Like they will review the most simple things just to make sure they get the call right on the field. And this was a very complex situation that was going to dictate the outcome in the game. And they were like, no, we got it right. Yeah. And that's the part that I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah. And again, it's also one of those other things where I don't want to get spiritual, but boy. It is one of those things kind of where it's crazy that it happens in this game on such a high level on Saturday, and then it happens basically again the next day.
Not even 24 hours later.
And, essentially still whatever was called on the field is what it was going for. But it makes you think a little bit of like, that's too crazy to be a coincidence. Yeah. I don't know. Again, I'm not gonna get in that direction, but it makes you think a little
collusion.
Bit. Yeah, it makes you think a little bit. Yeah, very, very strange was that play, and it turns out to be a humongous play. However, I would argue, a couple other plays would definitely play into the sense of like why the Bills may have lost this game, maybe why the Broncos may have won this game. Going into halftime, Broncos were up 7.
They're
Bills,
up 10, I think, because they kicked that field goal right there.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. But Broncos are up 7. Bills get the ball instead of kneeing it out. Josh Allen tries to scramble around, run around. Sure enough, a fumble. Broncos are able to recover it and then end the half with another field goal, a flip of essentially like 10 to 17 points right there, all in about a couple plays. I think that was really the huge play right there for them. And then obviously, them losing by 3 kind of plays into it. It wasn't without a little bit of a Bills comeback. I believe they did come back and eventually take the lead again at one point. But again, still losing it. And I mean, I don't want to keep piling on for him and be the hater, but if this was ever the year for Josh Allen to go and do it, this was for sure the year. We went over last week what quarterbacks were left, and even right now, heading into the AFC Championship, Jared Stidham and Drake May, and Bills fans, you again have to be like, man, our quarterback is better. Our guys are better. Just why aren't we here? You see that the Bills fired Sean McDermott. Oh, is there a quick solution in your mind? Is there what needs to be done up in Buffalo for this to make that finally make that next step?
A change in ownership.
Okay.
Especially after what we saw this week. That whole fiasco going on.
Oh, that was great, too.
Yeah, Terry Pagula gets on and has a press conference and then basically says, no, Brandon Beane didn't draft Keon Coleman. The coaches did. And then, God, I love the internet because not even like 15 minutes later, somebody had shown like a video from like a Hard Knocks documentary where it was literally Brandon Beane talking about, basically as long as nobody else drafts Keon Coleman, we're going to take Keon Coleman with our first pick. And they were talking about his 40-yard dash time is being similar to another wide receiver they drafted in the similar position. It may have been Gabe Davis now that I think about it. But, yeah, I love when owners get on the mics this time of year because you can really tell what organizations have either really put the work in to be in the situations that they're in, or B, you could tell who has really just tripped over themselves and just happened to be in a nice position due to outside forces that they literally had no control over.
And here, I got it right here. Terry Pagula.
Yeah, hit me with it.
On the Keon Coleman draft position. Here it is.
Can I interrupt? I'll address the Keon situation. The coaching staff pushed to draft Keon. I'm not saying Brandon wouldn't have drafted him, but he wasn't his next choice. That was Brandon being a team player and taking advice of his coaching staff, who felt strongly about the player. And, you know, he's taken, for some reason, heat over it and not saying a word about it. But I'm here to tell you the true story.
That's, I mean, just, again, the fact that he had to interrupt the press conference just to make sure that was set out there, I think, again, that it just shows you the ownership that they're dealing with. And what's really funny is he owns the Buffalo Sabres as well. This is the most successful season the Buffalo Sabres have had in literally 15, 20 years. And I think it's because Terry's so focused on the Bills that he could not put any efforts or any of his voodoo, if you will, into the Sabres this year. Because the Sabres right now are sitting in a playoff spot. And they go back. That's the one team that goes back and forth with the Jets every year of like which team has been in the playoffs longer. I think it's like 15 or 16 seasons now. And it's just amazing how, I guess, the lack of involvement from a certain toxic individual or certain ownership can really actually be a good thing for a team. So
yeah, that was pretty solid. Again, that clip right there, that was from the Buffalo Bills on Keon Coleman.
Just talk about having a really bad day on vacation. Keon Coleman had to have the worst day on vacation that anyone has had in a long time. Yeah,
exactly. Just I love those.
Just catching strays, man.
Yeah, exactly. The scene from I Think You Should Leave when Tim Robinson's wearing the hat, and I don't know if you've seen that skit. It's like, oh, everyone in this room hates the guy with the. Yeah. And all getting on. I was like, oh man, that hat's really distracting and stupid. Just sitting like, no one's said anything. Exactly that. So yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, and kind of not to add insult to injury, but he did drop a touchdown in the end zone, I believe. So we'll see how that one goes. How Keon adds on to that one. Later on Sunday, we talked about the Bears and the Rams leading the way there. Rams take down the Bears after the Caleb Williams interception turned later on into a game-winning field goal for the Rams. The hefty kicker. I'll have to pull him up in a little bit, which I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw. NBC had a completely just like his verbiage because he came out and immediately swore. So he had to. Oh, really? NBC had to like jumble up the words live. It was it was kind of weird.
I did not see that.
Yeah, it was weird. I think if you follow Awful Announcing, they put it up on their account.
Okay.
But again, later on earlier Sunday we saw CJ Stroud.
Oh God.
Put in his application for possibly the worst NFL quarterback currently playing with his 4 interceptions at half. And essentially saying, "Here you go, New England. Remember those good old days? Right back to you. You get to have them all right back and right now." Patriots take down the Texans 28-16. And in my mind, again, it was nothing. Okay, I won't take it completely away from them. That Keyshawn Booty play, the touchdown right there, that's an amazing play right there for sure. But otherwise, I don't feel like the Patriots did anything spectacular. They didn't do anything special in my mind to go out and win this game. This was simply the Texans and CJ Stroud just looking at the assignment and be like, you know what?
Vomiting all over themselves.
Yeah, just way too big of an assignment for me. Now I'm good. Exactly that, kind of panic puking on themselves. And sure enough, Drake May gets the dub here. Do you?
Oh boy.
You see CJ Stroud struggling at halftime. Do you bench him at halftime if you're the head coach and go to Davis Mills? Is there any inkling in your mind that could have happened or should have happened?
I definitely think that it was on the table if the Texans did not come out and score on the first drive like they did. Because they did come out and take the ball out of halftime and go score points. So the other thing that people, I guess, are failing to remember too is that Nico Collins was not in this game, and then Dalton Schultz got hurt like literally after the second drive, after he gets like a 50-yard reception, and then has like a calf injury. So it just showed how those two players, how important they were to the offense. Houston needs an offensive line, and then maybe they could be okay. But yeah, Davis Mills, I think he was definitely going to be an option. D'Amico Ryans kind of mentioned that at halftime. Kind of like, well, we want to see what CJ can do. They obviously believe in CJ. They had kind of gotten to that point with CJ, so I feel like you got to let him play. But yeah, it was tough. Have you heard the reports about CJ Stroud, where he could be landing in his next team?
No.
So there is a rumor floating around that he could be the heir apparent to Matt Stafford in LA.
Oh, wow.
And I think that would be incredibly interesting to see CJ Stroud with Sean McVay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So keep your eyes out for that. I'm not going to sit here and say I have any credible sources other than what I read on the internet.
I did not hear a single.
I'm not
of that.
tapped in, but I have been hearing this. So if you know, in the coming weeks and a year from now, if we're looking up and CJ Stroud plays the Rams, just think of little old me and be like, wow, that guy actually got one right. So I think it's a great idea. Though.
Every
I think
time you see CJ Stroud throw a touchdown, think of WRMN 14-10.
Yeah,
right
exactly. There it is.
Again, it wasn't completely on CJ. I think you made mention of the offensive line. The run game was putrid for the Texans. I think Woody Marks probably only eclipsed 17 rush yards or something. And
he had
a
fumble too, right there. He had a key fumble there in the third quarter. That was that was tough.
They were right there in the red zone about to score, and sure enough, like you just mentioned, a fumble, like critical fumble
after
by
a turnover.
Marks.
I think Will Anderson had gotten that strip sack after they had gotten a field goal. It was
it was a pick by Stroud, then turned into a pick by Drake May, and then eventually led to the eventual fumble by Woody Marks in that stretch for the Texans.
And that was kind of the theme of the weekend too. I don't know if you saw this, but the turnover differential between the losing teams, and it was 16-4 this weekend.
Wow.
This past weekend, and while in the divisional round.
I mean,
and
the
Patriots had 3 of those 4 turnovers by winning teams. So if you think about it, the other 3 games, the winning team only had 1 turnover, and it was Denver.
And again, like you mentioned, Rams had to be perfect essentially to beat the Bears. They were. Bears came out and had at least 3 turnovers and the 3 interceptions from Caleb. Nothing on that side from Stafford. So that was the divisional rounds, and here we are into the conference championships with a couple more minutes here. We can kind of give our thoughts on this one. This was, starting off CBS 2 p.m. tomorrow. Make sure you guys are watching and listening. We have the Patriots being hosted by the Denver Broncos. This, I believe, started off as a Broncos 2.5 point, 3.5 point favorites that is now flipped to a New England 3.5 points because we did not mention this in the breakdown of the division game. Bo Nix breaking his ankle in the second to last play for the Denver Broncos in that final drive. I mean, when that push notification came through, I thought, this is fake. This is not real. This is...
Oh, you thought that one was fake? I thought Phillip Rivers interviewing for the Bills head coaching job was the fake one. But go ahead. I continue. I'm sorry.
That one? I'm actually not opposed to that. We'll get to that maybe a little bit later. Maybe if the wheel wants us to talk about it, I think we can.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
The wheel can let us talk about that. Again, I basically it felt like ball goes through the uprights. I get the notification of like, oh yeah, Broncos on to the AFC Championship, and then what felt like a couple seconds later, and Bo Nix will not be going to the AFC Championship as he broke his ankle, and you're sitting there like, what? Like again, it felt like the confetti didn't even come down, like it wasn't even done falling just yet for Denver, and you find out that starting quarterback Bo Nix will be out the remainder of the playoffs for these last two potential 2 games for the Broncos. And here comes the Red Knight, or whatever, the knight in shining armor here in Jarrett Stidham. Let's break it down. What can be done? Do you have any confidence in the Broncos going into this game hosting? How are we feeling for the Patriots versus Broncos?
Yeah, I feel like finally it's been a minute. Ever since the Broncos bye week, their defense has been definitely not as good as it was to start the season. But I feel like this week is the week they all know that they have to step up and play one of their better games of the season. So I think in that regard, they're at home. Will Campbell has not been playing his best football since the playoffs started. He's last week he had to deal with Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. The week before that, he had to deal with Khalil Mack and didn't play as great when they played the Chargers. So he's going to get a nice heaping dose of Nick Bonito this week. And Nick Bonito and Myles Garrett I believe, are the only 2 players in the league the last 2 seasons to have 14 or more sacks in both seasons. So he is definitely going to have his hands full. I love the under in this game. I think this is going to be a very low-scoring game. I think Travion Henderson for the Patriots is going to be the X factor. I think they got to get him going in some way, shape, or form, running the ball. But no, I see this as a low-scoring game, maybe kind of like similar to the Bears game, 2017, maybe even like 17-14, something along those lines.
Total
But
right now is at 43.5.
But I absolutely give Denver a shot because they, like I said, playing at home. The Patriots all-time, by the way, are 0-4. In Mile High, and they have not crossed the Mississippi River this season for a game.
Okay.
This will be the first time that the Patriots have crossed the Mississippi to play a football game this year.
I haven't heard that. A Patriot crossing the Mississippi?
Yeah, exactly.
Hasn't happened, since 1776, baby?
Yeah, literally. That was another joke on Reddit going around. It's like, well, if they fly east all the way around the globe to land in Denver, they technically never crossed the Mississippi. And I was like, that's a good point.
Oh, man.
So, but yeah, no, absolutely. I give the Broncos a shot. I think the Super Bowl is happening in Seattle this weekend. Like, those are the two best teams. They've been the two best teams all season.
That's fair.
So I think the winner of the NFC is going to win the Super Bowl. I hate to be that guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm kind of in that same boat of Patriots Broncos. I'm not going to completely rule out the Broncos because of their defense, because of what you had mentioned too, how the Patriots have struggled in the past. They even struggled this year. They went ahead and went to Mile High, and they lost earlier this season to the Broncos. So that defense is definitely a huge issue. The big anomaly that's also going around, I think Barstool kind of made it popular as well, was Drake May is statistically right now like the worst quarterback when it's 3rd and 6, apparently. So there's like a curse or like a hex right now. Anytime it's 3rd and 6 for the Patriots, it turns into like the worst play of all time. I think, again, you can even look the week before the last week. It's 3rd and 6, and what does Drake May do? He throws a pick.
No, I thought he got strip sacked.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, he got
That's
strip sacked. Yeah,
that's what it was. So
there was PFT
right
is
there.
really going ham on this.
Oh, yeah.
He's looking for anything and everything for this Drake May stats.
Exactly.
It's pretty funny.
Exactly. So again, with the Patriots being 3.5-point favorites, I can see it for that reason. Jarrett Stidham, for what it's worth, he was coming out of college. I think he was ranked higher than Kyler Murray as a dual threat quarterback. So
yeah,
you can kind of see maybe something along the lines of that. But yeah, again, Patriots possibly leading the way. They are the 3.5-point favorites. 43.5 is the total. You're leaning towards the under. I'm gonna lean the same way for the sake of just competitiveness. Again, even if the Patriots get a lead, and they probably just will suffocate them. It's going to be something like that. So we can definitely see something along the lines of that. What did you get?
Nothing. I was just
gotcha.
Yeah.
There you go. And then we're gonna have a couple more seconds. I don't want to we can deep dive a little bit more.
The Rams are going to win, regardless of what Fantasy Football Blitz has to say about this game. The Rams are going to win in Seattle. Matt Stafford is playing for his legacy this weekend. He is the one player left in the NFL that has the most to gain from playing and winning a second Super Bowl. And I will break that down for you after the break. How about that?
Love that. Love that passion right there. Exactly that. Exactly right. So we're going to have the NFC Championship, breaking it down. A little bit of a preview there, as that's the only game that's left there to talk about in the NFL realm. But we also got some NBA on the horizon, a little bit of MLB news as well, and maybe some NHL. We'll get into that all coming up in just a little bit right here. Nick Johnston on the ones and twos and talking it out, hosting it with you. And we got Dalton Cooper here as well on the rise. We got Mike Napolitano on assignment. I know he's got his hockey stuff. So hopefully you're joining, locking it down. WRMN 1410 on the rise right here.
At Britain's Touchless Car Wash, they know life gets busy. That's why they're here 24/7 to keep your car looking spotless, fast, and easy. Their advanced brush-free wash technology delivers a sparkling clean without a single scratch, because they treat your car like it's their own. Here's the best part. Right now, you can get a free car wash just for joining their text club. It's simple. Just text BRITT to 30400, and your first wash is on them. Britain's Touchless Car Wash has two convenient locations, 1923 Larkin Avenue in Elgin and 555 Willow in West Dundee. They're proud to keep your car clean while giving back to our community. Text BRITT to 30400. That's BRITT to 30400. now for your free car wash and see why Britain's touchless car wash is the fast, gentle, and reliable choice.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410. Elgin time, 11 o'clock.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. 2/3 of the country is facing down a monster winter storm. It will stretch all the way from Texas to New England, bringing heavy snow and ice in some areas. This man's been shopping for groceries in McCalla, Georgia.
I wonder if it's like kind of a southern thing. Like we just want to make sure we're good for any kind of winter blizzards or anything that could come. But if we got a little bit of something, we just want to make sure we're stocked up.
Crippling ice accumulations expected to bring down power lines in some parts of the South, and at least 10,000 flights have been canceled as a result. Meanwhile, the experts are warning people not to put too much confidence in the latest weather apps on their cell phones.
Apps are great for nice, boring days, but during big winter storms like the one blowing through the U.S., here's the problem. A lot of apps take raw computer model data and turn it into very specific-looking numbers, even when there's a ton of uncertainty. Apps aren't human. They don't understand why weather happens, and that's where human meteorologists come in. Humans look at moisture, dry air, timing, and adjust forecasts instead of just copy-pasting model numbers. That's why experts say your most reliable forecast during storms like this is still local TV meteorologists and local National Weather Service offices. Trust the humans first.
That is correspondent Kiki Sedaris reporting. Minnesota's governor says federal officers have shot another person in Minneapolis amid the administration's ongoing immigration crackdown. The details surrounding the shooting were not immediately clear. Homeland Security says that a person had a firearm and 2 magazines. They sent that information along to the Associated Press. President Trump is threatening to impose a 100% tariff on goods imported from Canada if America's northern neighbor goes ahead with its trade deal with China. More on these stories at townhall.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141.
Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
President Trump was often center stage at the World Economic Forum in Davos this past week. Among the 3 high points were his economic speech, his announcement of a framework for security in Greenland, and his announcement of an international board of peace to try to oversee the peace process in Gaza and in other conflicts. But the effect of some European Union leaders still wanting more distance from the U.S.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said,
"The seismic change we are going through today is an opportunity, in fact, a necessity, to build a new form of European independence."
EU leaders are also discussing Trump's proposed Board of Peace, which some countries have declined to join.
That is correspondent Karen Chamis reporting. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney is one of the leaders expressing opposition to President Trump. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. The FDIC has given Ford and General Motors an important green light.
The federal government has given General Motors and Ford Motor Company conditional approval to create industrial banks that will allow the companies to accept insured deposits for vehicle purchases. The automakers have a year to set up GM Financial Bank and Ford Credit Bank. Industrial banks are regulated and governed like any other banking institution, but are more limited in scope.
That is Bill Alexander reporting. The commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guard has warned that his forces are, quote, more ready than ever. As U.S. warships move toward the Middle East, tensions between Iran and the U.S. remain high following a crackdown on demonstrations that began back in December. Activists report more than 40,000 arrests and a rising death toll. President Trump has warned Iran against executing protesters. It has moved warships into the region, in the administration's words, just in case.
Are you suffering with anxiety, depression, PTSD, an eating disorder, or even a substance abuse problem? If it's causing problems at work or with your family, get help now at Insight Mental Health and Wellness. We can help and treat all types of depression and mental issues. We'll help you use your insurance to get away from it all to a beautiful, sunny, and tranquil vacation-like environment so you can recharge yourself. And with a Family Medical Leave Act, you could take the time off you need from work. Plus, with the Affordable Care Act, your treatment could be 100% covered. If you're suffering from any kind of anxiety, depression, PTSD, eating disorder, or even a substance abuse problem, use your insurance and get away from it all. Come to sunny California. Call Insight Mental Health and Wellness now. 800-419-0287. 800-419-0287. 800-419-0287. That's 800-419-0287.
Welcome in, everybody. WRMN 1410 on the rise right here. Nick Johnston and Dalton Cooper in the building for some sports. But if you want to get involved and interactive, you heard or you listened to us this past hour, you heard us talk about the Bears, talking also a little bit of AFC divisional games, NFC divisional games, previewed some championship games. We got the NFC championship games still to talk about. But if you want to get involved in this conversation, we can text and call the studio, or you can hit us up on the YouTube side of things, youtube.com/WRMN radio. Or again, if you want to text the studio or the number right here, 847-931-1410 to call in, 505-926-1410 to text in and get involved in our conversation. Like we mentioned, had some Bears talk, had some other games involved as well. But let's finally get to the NFC Championship game, which you were very passionate about. You were saying exactly this. You were saying, hey, this is basically the Super Bowl before the Super Bowl. Rams, Seahawks. Why do you think the Rams are taking this one?
Well, they have the difference in quarterback, I think. I think you saw last week how well the Rams defense can play. You saw also a matchup between the Texans and the Patriots, which I think we could all agree the Texans defense was probably the most impressive defense we'd seen all year.
By far.
And you saw that they have a quarterback that could become turnover plagued all of a sudden. And that defense can't stop short fields all the time. So I think that Sam Darnold might be turning back into a pumpkin. Something tells me that Sam Darnold is not yet ready to turn the corner. He'll find a way to Sam Darnold, and I think it's going to be the difference in the game. And I don't know, something about Sean McVay and this Matt Stafford combination. Plus, Matt Stafford is playing for his legacy. He has a chance to take himself from probably a Hall of Fame player. He'll probably make the Hall of Fame now. He's probably going to win the MVP. But if he gets a second Super Bowl, I think he jumps into the conversation of maybe a top 12 quarterback of all time.
That's fair.
Maybe even top 10 quarterback of all time.
Because some want to even make the argument of like, oh, even though you have one, you have none
Right.
in terms of Super Bowls. So it is, that next step. Like, oh, you have one? No, you need to basically have two now to be in that next realm of, NFL legendary status. And exactly right, where he can, carve his name into the stone of greatness. And that's a pretty good reason why. On the flip side, Seattle is 2.5-point favorites at home. 45.5 is the total. Again, seeing the news about Sam Darnold and his oblique. It's been a little bit since I've taken a health class. That's on the side right here? Or is that more on your back?
No, it's definitely on your side. It's
okay,
like your side
gotcha.
of your
So
abs.
more on more abdominal area on the side. So I believe it's on his throwing side. So again, all of that motion can kind of still play into it and plague you a little bit. But again, it is the idea of when these two teams played each other throughout the year. I believe that the season did split 1-1.
Yep.
But Sam Darnold threw two touchdowns to 6 interceptions. This Rams defense is looking pretty solid right now. Again, same in Seattle's realm. But man, oh man, again, I'm kind of in that same realm as you, where Sam Darnold hasn't really been here this late in the season ever before in his career. Can he do it? And again, with all those other storylines kind of backing up Matthew Stafford and the Rams right now, the season he's had 46 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 4,700 yards passing. I mean, poised for the MVP again. Drake May lovers and Patriots fans will tell you it'll probably be Drake May. However, I think it should be Matthew Stafford for the MVP for sure.
Yeah.
It's gonna be solid. I think this is the Super Bowl before the Super Bowl. Rams Seahawks is gonna be another solid game. For the sake of excitement, I would love it for it to be a high-scoring affair. Just another one of these big shootouts. Another one of these shootouts that we've kind of been.
I think that favors the Rams if that happens.
I think so too.
Yeah, like the Rams want to play a shootout, where Seattle will want to kind of play a slow down, let their defense control the tempo of the game, and I don't think the Rams will let them do that.
Yeah, and this could be one of those games where just the last possession, the very last team to hold the ball could be the one that's putting it through the uprights for a game-winning field goal, or maybe it's a game-winning PAT or something like that in that same breath. So this could be. I'm banking on this just being exciting. Hopefully, a really awesome game to look forward to. Injury reports from both. Obviously, I think the biggest one obviously is Jarrett Stidham and for Bo Nix, but I think Cortland Sutton's playing for the Broncos. No real major injury for the Patriots, and then nothing on either side for the Rams or the Seahawks. So I think that's going to be good. I think the only thing was we were sitting here kind of like, oh, will Sam Darnold play? Won't he play? We still did see Drew Lock for a little bit, but that's because it was such a big blowout last week against the San Francisco 49ers. Most likely not going to see Drew Lock this week. So again, locking in our final picks. You're going with the Patriots
I like that.
in the AFC Championship, and you were going with the Rams for the NFC.
Yeah, if I was gonna play the number, I would take Broncos. I would take the 5.5 points you're getting with Denver, though. If we're playing points, but we're playing just straight up winners, I think the Patriots find a way.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna have some fun. I'm gonna say the Broncos.
Nice, there it is.
Just have a little bit of differential here, but I will agree with you. I think the Rams do take it. Let's have it be fun. Let's go 30-28 or something like that.
30-28. Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of points.
Yeah. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling
taking
good.
the over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not by much, but it is exactly that. It is hitting the over. So again, folks at home, let us know what's your thoughts, questions, concerns about these NFC and AFC Championship games. AFC Championship game tomorrow at 2 p.m. and then 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time for the NFC Championship game. So there we have it. Then it was, take a big old breath. We got all the NFL off there, all done there.
Everything's done.
We can kind of, before we get into maybe a little bit of, what would you want to do? MLB? What would you want to do?
we got to
NBA?
talk about your White Sox. I feel like that's
for sure. But just before that, I'm going to get your thoughts maybe quickly on the college football playoff, the championship. Anything on Indiana? Yeah. Anything on Indiana versus Miami? That was a solid game.
Great game. I think.
Even better camera work to find a certain figure afterward.
Well, during even.
Yes.
Yeah, during.
Yes,
that's not the first time she's been caught in action either. Yeah. Probably, I would assume.
Now, I think if you don't know, the former adult actress,
entertainer, maybe?
Yes, yeah. I think that's what would be the line of work that you describe it as. Abella Danger, as the name, as her pseudonym is, was seen on the sideline. But it was raised. I don't know if the answer to this question. It's been a little bit of a rumor. Is she dating Carson Beck?
Yeah.
Oh, they are.
That's been like.
Is it officially official?
That's a couple weeks ago. Yeah, you're late to the party. And that was like she was at the New Year's Eve game when they played Ohio State. Even.
Okay. All right.
Down in I think Dallas is where they played that game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not really too caught up on her.
You gotta stay hip, man.
I'm not really caught up on her work and everything and everything that's going on. So I'm not. Yeah, I didn't really do any studying on her tape or his tape.
Right.
So I'm not really in the Carson Beck realm. But again, I that was the game away from the game. Anything from Indiana taking this dub over Miami.
Yeah, I mean, it just if anything, the couple big winners is Kurt Signetti, obviously, going, taking the stepping stone, taking literally Indiana, the losingest program in college football history going into the season, to a 16-0 records. First time we've seen a college football team win 16 games and go 16-0 since 1894.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive. Fernando Mendoza has like the, kind of the highlight of Indiana football where he's diving for that rushing touchdown, there in the fourth quarter. He's going to be the first pick over in the draft this coming year. More than likely, I would probably bet a lot of money on that. And it's just the Big Ten. The Big Ten has won 3 straight national championships. I assume, I can only imagine they're probably going to win a 4th coming up with all the talent and all the money in NIL, the way that college football landscape is kind of set up anymore. And is Miami here to stay? I feel like Miami might be here to stay just because they play in that ACC. They have plenty of money. Mario Cristobal is a great recruiter. They have that nice little backyard advantage where they have a lot of good football talent in Southern Florida. And obviously they can play all year round, which helps too. But yeah, I mean, it was a great college football season. The only downside I would say is next year the championship game is we played on January 26th, which is literally another week after we've already it would literally be this coming Monday. And I just don't know how I feel about the championship game of college football being played 7 weeks after the end of the regular season happens.
Tough.
That's crazy.
That's a tough one. Yeah, I think a lot to unpack there for sure. I mean, again, I think the one of the bigger takeaways just the overall general landscape is just to go from out of the loop, down and out type of organization and program to being from a 0 to a number 1 almost immediately kind of shows that this NIL college football realm right now is the wild, wild west, but you can clearly see that you can go from a nothing program to, man, you're the national champion.
Do you want to know a crazy stat? Do you know how many 4 or 5-star recruits Miami has on their team this year?
Their
team? Yeah.
I wouldn't know. No.
They had 60.
They had
60 4 or 5-star.
to Indiana's 0.
Do you know how many? Do you know how many Indiana had?
0.
7.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
that was just the thing because everyone's like, "Oh, they're 3." It was just a team of 3-star recruits.
Literally, and it's just it really was. And if anything, it gives hope to teams like Syracuse or Rutgers or
that was gonna be the name that came out.
Literally any team that wants to maybe could spend a little bit of money, find the right coach. All of a sudden, you're a championship contender like that. So if anything, it's just kind of a cool realm to be in, to where literally it could be anybody.
And to answer your other question of is Miami still in? I think Miami does stay around and stays relevant. I think they maybe go that same route that they have been of maybe NIL wise, go out and get the big quarterback name. They just did that with Cam Ward, just did that with Carson Beck. I'm not quite sure who the next big one is. I think they didn't really do any.
They've been trying to get Duke's quarterback. That's been the hoopla this week, and there's judges involved in blocking that, and it's a mess right now.
Yeah. So again, it is they probably do stay competitive, but I'll agree again where. This was just a very exciting college football season to watch. If you were an outsider like me that doesn't have an alma mater, that doesn't really have any skin in the game, it's just whoever has my money that week is my team basically. It was exciting all around. So it was really good to see. Hopefully that continues on. But yeah.
And then the last 2 things before we move on to baseball. One, coming starting August 1st, teams are allowed to have patches. So you're going to see advertising similar to like what you see in the NBA and other leagues for college football. It's another way for programs to draw up NIL money and all that stuff. And then, of course, the CFP is going to remain a 12-team field as well. So not a lot, as much as it's changing, some of the stuff is staying the same going into next college football season. So we'll definitely see what happens.
Yeah, that'd be good to see. Well, exactly that. On to some baseball news and talks here. Let's get into it because the White Sox made some noise this week, making a trade with the New York Mets, the Metropolitans, New York Mets. Luis Robert Jr. heading on over to New York for Luis Angel Acuna and Truman. Oh God, it was. I'm gonna butcher. Let me get it up really quick.
Well, they also re-signed Sir Anthony Dominguez too.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw that.
That was the other big one for sure. Possibly one of the better bullpen arms, closing arms that were left in free agency. The White Sox also signed Sir Anthony Dominguez to a $20 million deal. Funny enough, First time I ever heard Sir Anthony Dominguez, I believe when he was on either Toronto or the Orioles. He goes, I'm like, oh, Sir Anthony. Oh, so he's knighted. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Turns out, no, it's just SER Anthony after this. So Sir Anthony Dominguez signs to the White Sox. They also made another bullpen move, kind of a little bit of a vet lefty hire signing. I'm kind of missing that one right then and there.
Yeah.
But again,
and they have Grant Taylor down in that bullpen, I believe too. He's a good arm.
Yeah. So the bullpen looking A-okay, but the Luis Robert trade is what we're kind of seeing on and what we're looking at. I think again, this was basically the last person of that like 2021 lineup that we all know and love. But this was necessary, I think. The Truman Pauly, that's the right-handed pitcher I was butchering on and leaving out. Truman Pauly. I think this was a necessary move that needed to be made. It was seeing Luis Robert Jr.'s potential on the horizon. It was always right there. But man, oh man, it was always set back by some sort of injury. Just something that weird that would happen to him. It felt like in any sort of way. A hamstring most of the time was kind of one of the big ailments for him. And you kind of saw later on down the line, like, you know what, these injuries are really taking a toll on him, where you saw in 2023, almost 40 home runs. He had 38 home runs in that year. Couple of big injuries and leaves him out the next year and the year after that. Only coming up to about, I believe, 28 home runs these last 2 years combined. So you can kind of see that the leg injuries, the hamstring injuries, the quad injuries were taking his power away. But never, obviously, the talent never left his glove. You always see him making very much some huge hustle, diving plays, some amazing plays out in the outfield. So I don't want to take it away in that sense. So I think you're losing a solid glove out in center field, but again, you're getting back two players that I feel like will actually eventually be there, where, Luis Robert Jr. is a little bit too injury prone. So anything for you on this Luis Robert Jr. trade?
I mean, if Acuna can become anything of what his brother is, that would be pretty sick. That would be incredible.
My thing for sure was, again, the big takeaway was, you know what? This is the organization that traded away PCA. So
yeah, and what was the other Fernando Tatis as well? So
the White Sox traded him away.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking. Oh, okay.
I was talking the Mets. Like,
You're talking about the Mets.
The Mets trading away PCA. I'm like, that was kind of my same mind. Like, okay, if they trade away PCA, they might not have a keen eye for young talent. So hopefully,
that's true. That's a good
Luis
point.
Angel Acuna, brother of Ronald Acuna, can just be. I mean, if he's at least 75% of what Acuna, of
not
Ronald.
even 50.
Yeah,
I'll take 50. If he could play a little bit, just as good a defense and then be 50% of the guy in the box. I mean, I think we would take that on the south side.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
Well, anything on the So I think.
No, like you said, I think you nailed. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it was just a long time coming. We've been waiting on this trade to happen probably since the summer of 2024. I would say. I'm not necessarily the Sox homer here. I leave that to you and Mike for sure. Yeah, I guess I leave that to you guys, but just the anticipation, and I think it's like you said, the last guy to kind of be part of that core group that has transitioned into kind of what the team is now, and it's going to be interesting. Now it's going to be it's got to be Chase Meidroff's team, right? Like it's got to be like he's going to be the new guy, kind of that everybody's going to look to.
He can be the vocal leader, while guys, other guys maybe like Colson Montgomery can still be like the leader on the stats sheet and everything
Tim
like
Elko.
that. But
Elko Suave. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Where again, we kind of saw in the past couple teams where Jose Abreu was the leader in the clubhouse, but he wasn't the vocal leader. You probably saw like guys like Tim Anderson were more in that role. So
it's really funny just to look at their payroll though, because if you look at the fourth highest paid player on the White Sox making $4.5 million, and that's Sean Newcomb.
Yeah, that was the newer acquisitions, the veteran left-handed that'll be going into the bullpen for the White Sox. So yeah, again, in terms of what to take away from it or what maybe.
Kyle Tucker making like $70 million a year. Then you have the top earner for the White Sox is at $17 million. It's just
Sounds
insane.
about right.
Yeah, Benintendi making $15 million at number 2. Yeah, it's just insane.
Yeah.
It's really it's like a completely different game that they're playing. It really is.
Yeah. It's not even like playing. It's not even chess and checkers. It's chess and I don't know.
Sudoku.
Playing Halo on an Xbox.
I don't even know, but yeah, I don't even know if that's even challenging on like legendary mode. Yeah, like it's insane.
It's bonkers. But overall, like I said, the big takeaway just in terms of just watching this and watching what the White Sox have done these past couple months, I'm glad that they're being aggressive in a different way. Haven't seen not like getting all the top prospects and everything, and getting all the top free. Just doing something, being active, doing something to get the stank out of the couch that is just the losingness, the loser attitude that is the White Sox. So I like seeing Chris Getz get involved, making some moves, making some headway, and this is a solid move. Like I said, could the White Sox have gotten more last season, right before the trade deadline for Luis Robert Jr.? Probably, yeah. I definitely would think so. But I think Luis Angel Acuna was already one of the targets that they had. I think they were kind of already in talks with the Mets last year, and again, this was one of the names already involved. So glad to see if that is the case, that White Sox were able to follow through, get the guy that they wanted, and sure enough, make the trade that they did. So, does Luis Robert Jr. break off and have a crazy 30?
Does he turn into Andrew Vaughn? Does he turn into Andrew Vaughn for Milwaukee?
I'm sure he'll have a month of being red hot Luis Robert Jr. But here's the thing. The way that the Mets lineup is right now, he doesn't need to be the MVP because they have Juan Soto and Marcus
Yeah, they don't
Semien.
need help choking anything away. They do that very well on their own.
That's a good way to look at it. And then they even made way. They got Framer Valdez or Freddie Peralta.
Yeah.
They got Freddie Peralta, the Mets did as well to add on.
Yeah, they've been busy. Everybody's been talking about the Dodgers making moves, but the Mets have made just as many, I would say, if not more.
Yeah. They like to spend some money over there in New York as well.
Yeah.
On that side of things.
It helps when you're that rich,
Yeah. Got a couple more minutes here. I understand that tonight is a special night. I know it's on the wheel as well, but might as well get to it just because.
Yeah, we got to
talk about it. Big night tonight. Retirement ceremony for the one, the only Derrick Rose. Number 1 will be retired tonight. Did you see the video that the Bulls posted? Kind of like a he got to see his banner before it got brought up.
Yeah, I think I did see that. Yeah.
I think the big one was for sure you saw Taj Gibson come out and a couple other players.
Yeah, Kirk Heinrich, I think, and Joakim Noah, I believe.
And then, that was the big one. Joakim Noah comes out in his pajama bottoms.
Yeah.
And the top comment was my favorite. Just someone asked simply, does Joakim Noah sleep at the United Center? Is that what's happening?
He's got a cot in the back. Yeah. Honestly, that'd be a very Joakim Noah thing to do. For sure.
I wouldn't. And you're gonna tell Joakim Noah to go anywhere? No, sir. He's definitely earned his keep anywhere.
Anywhere but he'll go anywhere but Cleveland.
That's true. Yeah. That's very true. For vacation?
He'll go anywhere but
Cedar Point. Come on.
He'll go anywhere but Cleveland. That's all I know.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Come on. But no, big night tonight. Derrick Rose, the jersey retirement happening. Obviously, I think still has 2 out of his 4 other figurine giveaways going on as well.
Okay.
Or throughout the year. So again, milking it a little bit, sure, but you know what? Very much deserved in Derrick Rose. And I don't know, maybe it was just me and a little bit of nostalgia hitting. I was watching some Simeon highlights. I was watching something to watch back. But man, oh man, I mean,
the youngest MVP in NBA history.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you weren't around or just weren't experiencing Derrick Rose when he was on the Bulls, you really felt like it was something special.
Yeah,
you watching him play, the way he would fly around, and it was just a different place, a different time. Again, if he would have tore his ACL maybe 10 years later, he probably would have been just as fine. But man, oh man, that's a bummer. It's a shame. But again, everything positive with this kid. He lives and breathes Chicago. He's a great representation for the city. And I can't think of anyone that's more deserving of getting their number retired.
I feel like he's right up there with Chance the Rapper as like cultural icons in Chicago.
Just like beloved or most loved in the city of Chicago. Can do no wrong.
Exactly.
I just simply put, I mean, exactly right. So Derek, you deserve tonight. You deserve a ton more. I hope he gets everything. He gets his roses, his flowers, everything tonight. So stick around for Bulls tonight as they retire number 1. And stick around for more On the Rise when we return right here. WRMN 1410.
Hi, this is Sherry Aschenbrenner, Vice President of Dementia Friendly Elgin Area. Everyone knows somebody living with dementia. Caregivers and friends of those with dementia are always welcome at our Elgin Area Memory Cafe, always the second Tuesday of every month at 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the South Elgin Public Works Building, 1000 Bowes Road in South Elgin. Also, Dementia Friendly Elgin Area gives free 20-minute dementia awareness trainings to local businesses, church groups, to bunco groups. Just invite us. If you'd like to get put on Sherry's senior email blast list, please email us at dfelist@gmail.com. Also, you can go and visit our website at dementiafriendlyelginarea.org.
Tune in to Sherry's Senior Moments radio show on the second Thursday of each month at 9:05 a.m. until 10 a.m. on WRMN AM 1410, WRMN Radio app, or WRMN Radio on YouTube. That's Sherry's Senior Moments, providing resources and information for our seniors in the community.
The new year means new resolutions, not just for your body, but for your finances as well. Did you know that financial health is directly related to your identity protection? This is why you need LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your subscription money back. Resolve to make your identity, health, and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Visit LifeLock.com and save up to 40% off your first year with a promo code BECK. Terms apply.
Clutter happens, but junk doesn't have to weigh you down. At the Junk Luggers, we're your full-service junk removal and hauling pros, tackling everything from single-item pickups to major cleanouts. We handle the heavy lifting, and with our commitment to the green way, we rehome and recycle to keep your unwanted items out of landfills. So, whether you're clearing out the garage, downsizing, or saying goodbye to old furniture, we make the process eco-friendly and easy. Call 1-800-LUG-JUNK or visit junkluggers.com today. Let's save your space and the planet together.
We are AFGE, the American Federation of Government Employees. We represent 700,000 federal and D.C. government workers who are the vital threads of the fabric of American life. We support our nation's military. We take care of our nation's veterans. We protect our nation's borders. We respond to our nation's crises and natural disasters. We provide services to our nation's seniors. The American Federation of Government Employees. We work for America.
We are AFGE, the American Federation of Government Employees. We represent 700,000 federal and D.C. government workers who are the vital threads of the fabric of American life. We support our nation's military. We take care of our nation's veterans. We protect our nation's borders. We respond to our nation's crises and natural disasters. We provide services to our nation's seniors. The American Federation of Government Employees. We work for America.
WRMN's Fantasy Football Blitz, live Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Live on YouTube/WRMN. Get the hard-hitting facts and statistics to help ignite your team into the fantasy playoffs. Don't set your roster until you've listened to the experts on WRMN's Fantasy Football Blitz.
Looking to set sail on your dream vacation? Cruises International has you covered. Specializing in land and sea getaways, they're here to make your vacation unforgettable. Located at 1721 Moon Lake Boulevard in Hoffman Estates, they offer personalized service with a global network of specialists to ensure your trip is tailor-made just for you. Call today at 800-255-7447 to speak with a cruise and vacation expert. And don't miss Travel Tuesdays on WRMN AM 1410 every first Tuesday of the month from 11 to 12 p.m. on Out to Lunch. That's Cruises International. Your vacation, your way.
Welcome in, folks. Here we are at WRMN 1410 on the rise. Nick Johnston, Dalton Cooper here. Ready to finish on out today. We talked about a little bit of everything today. We got a little bit of NFL, everything under the sun there. Talking about our Bears. Unfortunately, not in the NFC Championship. We talked about the NFC Championship preview, AFC Championship as well. We got in some basketball. We got in some baseball. But now we're going to take a little put our brain.
We talked about how the importance of watching Remember the Titans.
That's We that might have been off air. I think we got it.
Yeah, I know. We if you have not seen Remember the Titans and you are out there today looking for something to do, please go watch that movie if you've never seen it before.
And again, it's a cold day here in the Chicagoland area. I think we're finally hitting 9 degrees. So
heat wave.
Yeah. Yeah,
honestly,
exactly.
when it was like 30 earlier this week, after it was like, I was like, wow, this is great.
Yeah, when it did hit 30, or for some areas right around like 40, you already saw people coming out in shorts.
Yeah.
And I have a buddy who's a high school teacher, and I asked him, like, anyone bust out the shorts? He goes, oh yeah, already.
Already.
I'm like, they're nuts. These kids are nuts, but it is what it is. Exactly that. It'll slowly get warmer. It's going to slowly get a little bit warmer as we're leaving here today, and then as it's going to slowly progress. But stay inside if you got nothing to do. Bundle up, watch some movies, watch something good, watch something cool. But otherwise, we're going to go ahead and turn off our brain a little bit.
Only a little.
Only a little bit.
Yeah, because we've had it on the whole time. If you've been listening.
We've been firing in all cylinders here this morning.
I thought it was smoky in here. I did. I thought it was.
If you heard something cooking, it was just because I was thinking about something. So.
Yeah, that's not popcorn we're making. That's that's the sound my brain makes when it's working.
Exactly. Does anyone smell like was it burnt toast? Is that
like sulfur in here to you?
But exactly that. We're gonna go ahead, rely on the wheel to make some decisions here and discuss what we want to talk about here. So let's do exactly that. Let's spin the wheel. Let's make a deal and see what we're talking about today.
Nice.
I got 12 topics.
I like it.
Some that we kind of mentioned.
The wheel of wow.
Wow.
Nice.
On the wheel, on the rise, on the wheel, on the rise?
On the rise of the wheel?
Yeah. Okay, this actually is pretty fitting. Something that we kind of wrapped up in the last segment. I think it's a nice way to start off in this first segment. So, again, tonight is Derrick Rose's jersey retirement. So I simply want to ask you, I did this on purpose. I didn't want to ask you in the last part. I want to wait till here just in case. What is your favorite Derrick Rose moment of all time? It could be in a Bulls jersey. It can be just Derrick Rose as himself, whatever it may be. What is your favorite Derrick Rose moment of all time?
I would probably say the buzzer beater he hit in Game 3 against the Cavaliers.
Okay,
was it the Cavs when
yes.
he was playing, or was it Miami?
It was the Cavs.
I think it was the Cavs. Yeah, that buzzer beater was a lot. That game was a lot of fun. I believe that game was on Mother's Day, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Something like that.
But yeah, that's probably my favorite Derrick Rose memory. The other honorable mention is the 50-point game he had with Minnesota.
That was my number one.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead. You can take it. I don't want to steal your thunder.
That was my number one. Being my number 2 team is the Timberwolves. So it was kind of like, awesome, cool. I get to see one of my favorite players of all time in one of my favorite teams currently right now. It's not Derrick Rose of old, and that's why it was a little bit more special, where you saw him break down afterward, and you saw the emotion afterward, because it was basically one of those just like, can I still do it? Yes, you can, Derrick. And you can have a baller of a game and still be. He was in his 30s already, kind of again tail end of his career right then and there in Minnesota, and balls out, has one heck of a game. I think he also put up the game winner or the go-ahead basket in that game, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yeah.
So again, just one hell of a game from Derrick Rose. That was my again, not in a Bulls jersey necessarily, but just my favorite Derrick Rose moment has to be him getting that 50-point game right then and there. So that's for sure my number one. So again, congratulations to Derrick Rose. You deserve anything, everything under the sun. It's such an awesome time to watch you play. So congratulations. Hopefully tonight's awesome. I'm going to definitely tune in for sure. So on to the next one.
Do you think he's in the Hall? He'll go to the Basketball Hall of Fame? I will preface that question with this. There is no NBA MVP that is not currently playing that is not in the Hall of Fame. So if you've won an MVP in NBA history, you have made the Hall of Fame, unless you're still playing right now and aren't Hall of Fame eligible.
Hall of pretty good in the NBA realm for sure. Hopefully
it's not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the basketball Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So it encompasses his college career, which he went, he played for a national title at Memphis, had a really good college career, which I think will be the difference in him getting in.
That's a huge factor for sure. But we spun, and here we are hitting number 12. Still in the basketball realm.
Oh, boy.
But on the little less fortunate side, and came up in the news, an ex-Heat employee is getting 3 years in jail for stolen jerseys and other stolen memorabilia. I'm not going to get into the legality of it. I'm going to ask you quickly just what game-used jersey would you need to or must have in your collection if there ever if you just pick anything and everything? Because there was a couple. It was also actually this was also brought up pretty recently. A Tom Brady jersey that was stolen. One of his Super Bowl jerseys was recovered, along with a Von Miller Super Bowl helmet and another Tom Brady jersey. And then Peyton Manning's final jersey in the Super Bowl was also just recently recovered as well. These were all stolen items. So again, what is there maybe like Wayne Gretzky's jersey during his big goal, maybe something like that?
I'm going to go a little off the wall here.
Okay.
I would take Mike Tyson's gloves from his last ever fight.
Ooh, that's good.
I think that's what I would go.
That's a good one.
I'd go with Mike Tyson's gloves, or even like Muhammad Ali's gloves from like his last ever boxing match. I think something like that was probably where I'd lean toward.
I'm gonna go also. I feel like maybe not as outside of the box as you on this one, but I was leaning towards like ripped jerseys. So I'm like maybe Ron Artest's ripped jersey from the Mouse in the Palace. Or Earl Campbell's just his when he goes for that tackle and they just shred his jersey just on the one play. I would just maybe just like the remnants of that jersey of that tackle from Earl Campbell. So I thought that would be pretty good. Or of course we can always go to like this person's last game, their retirement jersey, or I always think that could be pretty cool. But that was a really good one. Yeah, I like that outside the box. Mike Tyson's last pair of boxing gloves.
Yeah, I think that would
not
be
against Logan Paul though.
No. I want I want the Glory Day Mike Tyson.
Okay.
Yeah, not the Dollar General version.
A little bit. Maybe hopefully get some earwax or some.
Yeah, there you go. Those things probably smell so bad too. Yeah.
Here we are now. Not on the sports side, but on the entertainment side, or more on the fashion side. If you're in this realm,
this is exactly where I live, so this is great.
The Lego Crocs are becoming available soon.
I think I've seen this, yeah.
Besides them looking so ridiculous, they look like you're wearing a Kleenex box with a couple bumps on the side. They also cost $150. What other toy line needs a pair of Crocs crossover? Or what cartoon/toy line, like what's something from like a cartoon or a toy, like you would need their clothes? Like,
Well, I've seen Bluey. Bluey's like the big one, right? Like you see with little kids, like the fashion. I'm sure they have Crocs and stuff like that. Sesame Street has probably done something similar to that.
Maybe. I'm not sure. If you get some Elmo Crocs, I'm sure they're probably.
I'm sure there's got like blue ones for Cookie Monster and Big Bird. I'm trying to think of like what like kind of a toy like Silly Bands, but that really wouldn't work out very well.
That came and went really quick.
Tamagotchi maybe.
Ooh, that could be.
I don't know how that would work.
That can make a little comeback. I did see this one went viral too.
The Chia Pet Crocs. There you go. They grow. Could you imagine that they grow?
They weren't Crocs, but they were like Hot Wheel shoes that you could put the toy car in the sole of it, almost as if the sole was like a garage. I saw that, and that went viral.
Can you imagine like Healy Hot Wheels Crocs, like Crocs mixed with Heelys, but they're also like Hot Wheel themed. That'd be kind of fun.
That could be good.
I like that. Yeah, the Hot Wheel. I'm trying to think of like toy lines that were popular when we were kids that are still popular today, and like Legos is probably like the one.
Yeah,
that's still popular. Maybe like I don't know. I do like that idea though. The Heelys mixed with Hot Wheels with Crocs.
We need like a really bizarre one. We need like the Iron Giant Crocs. Like something just
SpongeBob.
Yeah. Oh, that was the other one. Everyone's like, they look like Sandy's boots.
Oh, they do. Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. They look
how square and how rectangular prism they look. They look like Sandy's boots.
They're coming in February of 2026. So they're well on their way.
They're right there. Don't if you're at their local Foot Locker.
I'm literally looking at people wearing these things. They look ridiculous.
Everyone said that too about the red shoes that make you look like Sonic. Those red high tops.
LaMelo Ball is already wearing a pair of these. I wonder how much they paid him. That's what I want to know.
Yeah. I mean, again, these
Lego, if you're listening, we'd be happy to take a pair here in the studio and show them off. If you want to send like a size 10 or 11 to the studio, we'll be happy to promote them for you.
So pop them in. There we go.
God, Lego shoes. Do they
Lego
just come in
shoes,
red?
baby.
Because I'm seeing like different colors of like green and yellow and.
Nah, stepping on Legos? No. Stepping into Legos. Yes.
Oh, that's a great. That's a Drake meme. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want. Here we are, folks. Okay, we kind of mentioned this earlier. According to and during the press conference for Bills owner Terry Pagula,
Oh boy.
made it clear that Coleman was drafted because of the coaching staff. He took one for Billy Bean. So I was kind of on this question of like, when was the last
Brandon,
time,
by
or
the way.
maybe in like a group like setting, maybe where you, when was the last time you're like, you know what, that's a bad idea, but we're gonna go with it anyways, just so I can prove to you that was a bad idea. Was there ever any time like that?
Yeah, anytime
for
I
you?
hang out with Mike, that usually that phrase comes out of my mouth once or twice. Like, it's a bad idea. We'll just do it anyway. Man, in sports or just in life? Because I'm trying to think.
Yeah, either one.
I almost think you could say that about the Vikings this year, where they were like, oh, well, we got JJ, because they flirted around with trying to sign Aaron Rodgers and tried, maybe getting a couple other quarterbacks. I think you can make that argument to where they just went along with it just to see what they got. I think that would be a good explanation for that. Did you have one in mind? 'Cause I'm still trying to really think through it.
Not one personally for me, but I definitely have been in certain situations where you're just like, you know what, I feel like I'm the only one that's being reasonable here. I don't feel like I'm being heard. So you know what? I'm going to let you guys decide. If it plays out, it plays out. If it don't, I'm going to be the first one that says, you know what, I told you so.
Yeah.
So there's definitely been, like I said, it's been mostly, like I said, group projects in like school, middle school that were kind of like that, where I was, like I said, oh, this went wrong. We only got a B. I'm like, oh, I told you. We should have done this.
I
But-
imagine that's how Caleb Williams haters felt at the beginning of this season.
Maybe.
Like, oh, great, we're going to run this kid out there. Like, I'm telling you, it's going to be awful. And then look where we are at now.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's how they felt.
I will stay still without spinning. I still want to stay on this topic of, you also made mention of it earlier, Phillip Rivers getting the potential candidacy.
The Broncos should have called him.
Yeah?
That's why I'm mad, is like they should have called
to get a quarterback.
Yeah. Instead of Jared Stidham, they should have called Phillip Rivers like, hey, Grandpa, we need you to suit up and come play in the AFC Championship game for us. Could you imagine? We got robbed, in my opinion, as fans. Because that would be amazing storylines.
That would have been. I mean, the storylines that the Broncos have been able to pop up before with their quarterbacks and all
Literally.
such. But yeah, it's been fantastic. Let's see. We definitely got some time. So between this and maybe some of Mamma Mia's, we can definitely get a couple more in for sure. Let's see. Round and round we go. Landed on this number, so I'll flip to the closest one to it. We're gonna go to number 1. So NBA Rivals Week was this past week. I don't know if you saw. It concludes tonight with 3 matchups right here. We have the Knicks taking on the 76ers. We have Golden State taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Lakers taking on the Denver and the Dallas Mavericks. Not to mistake you of earlier in that week when the Golden State Warriors also took on their other rivals, apparently the Dallas Mavericks. And the Dallas Mavericks, who are also facing their rivals tonight in the Lakers, also faced Golden State earlier in that week. But Golden State, or the Lakers, also had 2 other rivals play in the Clippers and the Nuggets. What I'm getting to, folks, is that these aren't really rivals.
Is everybody a rival? Yeah, I was going to say everybody in the same conference.
Yeah, we can make the really big, long, like stretch. Okay, fine. I'll give you Tuesday. Spurs and Rockets because of Tracy McGrady's 13 points in 33 seconds. Okay, fine. But Lakers and Nuggets, no. Folks at home, remember those highly rivalry games between the Cavs and the Hornets? Make sure you'd write in the comments your favorite Cavs versus Hornets games, guys. Thunder and Bucks. Again, not to be mistaken with the Bucks' other rival, which is also the Lakers' other rival, in the Denver Nuggets. So, again, long-winded way of me getting to, how can we fix this? How do we not have Lakers versus Celtics, or Bulls versus Pistons, or Knicks versus Pacers,
or even like Jazz against the Bulls, stuff like where history has like a little bit of a precedence, if you will. That's a great question, because there's not really the problem is that the NBA is very player centric and not franchise centric, which I think with the flexibility and at the rate at which players move around to different teams and join up and play with one another in X, Y, and Z, that like the rivalries kind of go away because the guys change teams so frequently that it's hard to see those guys that like have stayed with a franchise for 10, 15, however many years to kind of build those rivalries. Yeah. So I don't know. That's a great question. I feel like that's more of a cultural problem with the NBA as opposed to there's really a solution for it.
I think you're onto something for sure, where I think in the NBA realm, that fandom is the most prominent, where it's just like, no, I'm not a fan of the team. I'm a fan of this guy. I'm a fan of John Morant.
Luka.
I'm a fan of, I'm a Luka fan. I'm not a Laker fan. I'm a LeBron James fan.
I'm a Jokic guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a Jason Tatum guy. I'm a Tyrese Halliburton. Yeah.
I think that is very much more in the NBA than in any other major sport for sure. So yeah, the idea of rivals, the bull, exactly that, the Bulls versus the Bulls versus the Blazers are going to get pushed to the side because no one really cares about what happened in '93.
I would almost argue that the Pacers of last season were probably the first team in recent memory where it felt like you were actually rooting for the Pacers and not rooting for a specific guy to win. Because obviously Tyrese Halliburton is great and he's a great player, but it felt like they as a fan of the NBA or as like a fan just watching the finals, I felt like you were rooting for the Pacers to win and not because of Tyrese Halliburton, just because you like the team overall. And I feel like that's the first time in a minute we've had that really.
Yeah.
So
very good point. Exactly that. So let's see who can be.
NBA's got a lot of things to work on.
Yeah, a little bit. But that's okay. On to the next
everybody
one.
plays the same way too. That's another big problem in the NBA.
That's fair. Yeah.
There's no creativity anymore.
That's very true. On to some hockey action. On to the ice.
Oh boy.
John, this is gonna be similar to my Derrick Rose question. Kind of simple, kind of maybe basic, but here it is simply. Jonathan Toews was back this week playing against the Blackhawks. He got a standing ovation, almost 10 minutes long. You saw him mouth the words. He goes, "All right, guys, come on." All right. So I just want to ask you, very much similar to the Derrick Rose question, what is your favorite Jonathan Toews moment of all time? Is there he's not really the big, you're not going to get a soundbite of him every now and again, but is there anything on the playing wise? Was there anything from it that was just his big moment for you?
Oh man, his first goal was very memorable, and to me, it probably, it's got to be their first Stanley Cup win, because that kind of solidified the arrival of this team. I think it was 2008, right? They won in 2008, they won in 2010, and then 2013.
Yeah,
I believe that those years are correct, but. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Chicago Blackhawks fan. This would be a better question for Mike, but I feel like it's got to be the first Stanley Cup that they won here in Chicago, because that broke a drought that had.
Oh yeah,
because it was like the 50s, I think, or 50s or 60s between championships when they won that Stanley Cup.
I don't think they had done something since the original 6 at that time.
Yeah,
so.
I was gonna say it had been a minute.
And if I'm not mistaken, Mike was at that game, correct?
On Monday, Mike was there for the return.
Yeah. So again, that would be hopefully when he comes back after this next set of games, we'll be able to get his.
So they've won 6 times. Yeah, when they won in 2010, it was the first time they'd won a cup since 1961. So 50 years, 60 years even.
So it was 2010, 13, and 15, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I just felt like that first one they won in 2010, and that was the one where they came back, I believe, too. They scored the 2 goals in 30 seconds or whatever against the Bruins.
17 seconds, baby.
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah.
And that was, so I think that was just the way it happened. And again, I think it just kind of solidified the arrival of this team.
Yeah.
And it's the last time the Philadelphia Flyers have been relevant too.
That's fair. That's very fair. Yeah. If I'm just going to be general, it'd probably just be something that I'm sure, again, fucking sound bites or something. I think we got something from him from one of the parades. I think that was probably one of the first times he actually showed he speaks. He's a character. He's got a little bit of there. So shout out to Jonathan Toews. That was awesome to see. Between him and Patrick
2
Kane
goals
playing.
in 17 seconds. There it was.
There we go.
Yeah,
I was in the bathroom for that.
Nice. That's the one moment, the one hockey memory that my girlfriend actually talks about. She's like, I remember that game. She's like, I remember the 17 seconds game.
Okay. You know what? I think we got time for one more.
All right.
And this ought to be good. Between that and we can get to a quick Mamma Mia before we head on out of here. This past Monday also was pretty interesting for the Sharks and the Panthers. If you didn't see that, they had a goalie fight.
Heck
Yes,
yeah.
indeed. I believe the score was currently 3-1 at that time.
Yep.
But yeah, sure enough, the Sharks and the Panthers goalie have at it. They dropped the gloves, and it wasn't too crazy. The two big boys kind of a couple punches thrown here and there, but nothing too crazy. I just want to ask, what is your all-time goalie fight matchup? What two goalies of all time would you have loved to see throw the gloves down and go at it 1v1?
Man. Well, Ben Bishop comes to mind because Ben Bishop was like 6'10".
Okay.
Yeah, he was huge. Like, I think that was on skates. I think off skates he was like 6'7", give or take. So he kind of comes to mind because I would just love to see how like his reach, would just be obnoxious.
Yeah.
Bob's a good one though because Bob is kind of that quiet, kind of very soft spoken, but he's very fiery, very competitive.
Nice.
Individual. Corey Crawford comes to mind too. Corey Crawford was a little bit bigger as far as the goalies too. Man, this is a great. Tim Thomas was a big boy too, back for the Bruins back in the early 2000s. He was a big guy. Man, and forgive me because now I'm trying to think of like guys in like the 90s, maybe like Patrick Waugh, some of the all-time goalies. Even Martin Brodeur would be a good one. But
I feel like Tuukka Rask can
Tuukka Rask, another good one. Yeah,
he can get
the guys that were
fiery.
fiery. Yeah, the guys that you just want to see get fired up. Yeah, man, that's a great question. All-time goalie fight.
That'd have been fantastic.
Exactly. But yeah, like I said, the first person that came to mind was Ben Bishop.
Okay,
because of his size. Yeah, and he was
I'm
an
sure
outlier.
there's guys that were probably watching like 70s hockey. They're like, oh, they're just. This is just one of those things where like, oh, they're just naming dudes in a room like that. That would just be this episode for the next, 30, 40 minutes if we had that.
And Alex Nedeljkovic, who was involved in that goalie fight, he completed the career Gordy hat trick for a goaltender with that fight, which is a goal, an assist, and a fight. So he's already gotten the goal and assist. Now he's got his goalie fight, so he completed the career Gordie Howe hat trick.
Hell yeah!
So shout out to him.
Love to see that. We got about a minute, so we can get a quick Mamma Mia before we head out of here.
Go ahead. I know you've been probably stewing on one.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. It was almost like a good news, bad news for me type deal. So I was going to be up in Wisconsin in Rice Lake next week.
Okay.
But that has been since canceled. My IHRA drag race / snowmobile races have been canceled. So Mamma Mia to that because it was a snowmobile race that didn't have enough snow on the ground. There wouldn't have been enough snow on the thing.
So. They can't make more?
Yeah, that's kind of what I said, but I was, I don't want to get all too nerdy and talk about something that I don't really know all too much about it, but I'm sure there's some science in it that where, the snow or the water, like the traction of the actual snowmobile, it wouldn't be as safe if it was legit snow or something like that. I don't know.
Interesting.
I think it might be something along the lines of that.
Science of snow.
But, again, the snowmobile race that I was supposed to work didn't have enough snow. So, Mamma Mia. But, again, good news, bad news. Bad news, I'm not going and working and getting the money from it. But good news, I don't have to spend my birthday up in Rice Lake, Wisconsin.
Nice.
So,
nice.
So, again, nothing. I don't want to downplay.
Snowmobile racing does sound pretty electric.
It is. It's awesome.
I don't think I've seen that before.
They're awesome. It's really cool to see. So, again, I don't want to downplay and hate on the city of Rice Lake. Never been. I'm sure there's plenty to do, something fun to do up there, but I like to spend my birthday up there would have been a little bit much.
The other Mamma Mia I was going to give to Rasheed Walker. We were talking about this before we got on air, but he is a Green Bay Packers offensive lineman, was arrested Friday morning in New York after he tried to check a bag that contained a firearm.
Can't do that.
So, he was taken into custody, charged with 2 counts of second-degree criminal possession of a weapon and criminal possession of a firearm, according to the New York Post.
Oof.
So, in the bin, anything that we could do to shine a poor light on the Green Bay Packers, we will definitely do on this show.
That's good.
And
I like that. They're hate watching us going into the NFC Championship. Potentially, we'll hate watch as one of their players gets arrested, I suppose. Well, there you have it,
charges.
folks.
Just charges.
Allegedly. There you have it, folks. Enjoy the NFC, AFC championships. Enjoy Derrick Rose getting his number retired tonight. Thank you. We'll be back next week. WRMN 1410 on the rise.
Now available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com is the